Radio 98.7 FM. If you're just joining us, where have you been? Don't you worry, if you've missed any of the show, you can catch it later on the website financialstyle.media, and of course remember to check out Newstyle Radio. In 2008, the government, to quote, took a radical step of making Black history part of the curriculum for the secondary education here in the UK. As a result, 3 million secondary school pupils gained access to subjects like the abolition of slavery in the British Empire and the work of reformers such as William Wilberforce, who of course was the MP who campaigned for abolition. The emphasis, though, was on British Black history, and we thought at the time that maybe a major goal had been achieved. However, it's still an issue, and not just here in the UK. This week, it was reported that a new principal, Angelique Blackmon, ironically is her name, of Howard University Middle School at Howard University, was sacking a number of teachers for teaching Black history. A parent, Shannon Settle, commented, "The school administration does not want the social studies teachers to teach African American history, yet it's led to anger and distress amongst students and parents alike, because they say they're on campus of a HBCU, which is a historically black college and university, because they want to know their culture, and 90% of the school is African American." But why is it such a big deal? Because it's still a big deal here. Black History in Our Schools campaign is inspired by school governor and mom of four, Stephanie Pitter. She's here to tell us why it's so important that we look at this issue and how we can make a change. Welcome to the studio. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good. So, straight to the chase, why do we need Black History in our schools?
I think it's important that we have Black history in our schools, not only to teach, and as I keep saying through every interview that I do, that Black history is not just important just for us. We know our history and we should be teaching our history to ourselves and to our children. But we need to make the world know that we are a people that contributed not only from Africa and America and the Caribbean, but right here in Britain, to make Britain become the word, quote, Great Britain.
Absolutely. So when you think about what Black history would look like here in our schools, what sort of subjects would we be talking about?
Well, I think, we've got to really dissect this and look at the obvious, that, enslavement is one of the highly profiled things that stand out within Black history. But we've got to remember that we just do not stand for that. Remember, we was not born slaves. We were made slaves, and that's the thing that we must understand. So we've got to really understand that you flip the coin and you realise there are positive aspects of Black history. Yeah. And we need to have this in our backgrounds to highlight to the world and the community and to our people and to other ethnic groups that Black history is positive. We have great scientists, we have poetry, we have entrepreneurs. First black woman to become a millionaire was Madam C.J. Walker, and the list goes on and on and on. So we haven't just got a dark side, we've actually got a bright side to our history.
Yeah, and very good point to make. So what do you say to the people who say, well, it's the responsibility of the parents and it's the responsibility of the individual to learn about our own history?
I think it's important that we teach our children, because they are the teachers today, and we are the teachers of our history. But when we're putting it into the schools, it's not so it can be diluted. It's not so that we can shun away from our responsibility. What we're teaching, not only to Black people, is teaching all other ethnic groups of our beauty. Why wouldn't we want them to know? Why would we want to hide this?
Yeah, and I think that's a valid point, because I was going to ask you about that. I think when we're thinking about Black history, we're thinking about it from our point of view.
Absolutely.
But it's also about educating other communities.
Absolutely.
About the things we've done and what we can do.
And what we stand for. We must remember that we need to come out of the box. We can't stay in the box and hide our history and keep our history to us, because it's so beautiful. I'm not ashamed of my history, whether it be good, which is enslavement, and whether it be whether it be bad of enslavement, or whether it be good because we've got these positive things. Let's go out there and shout it. Why not? I'm proud. I'm very much proud to shout about the history. I was speaking to my father in Jamaica just a couple of days back, and I rang him, and he was telling me about the Windrush when he came over here, and I decided to get the history of my grandparents that were born in 1899 and 1907 and coming down throughout life, and my father told me that he came over here in 1960 on the boat, and he left Jamaica in the 29th of August, and he landed in Hetman White on the 26th of September. That's how long it took him. There was about 400 to 500 people on this boat, and he got off and he saw snow for the very first time. His journey was horrific here in terms of racism and abuse that he had to endure and suffer. So, you know, we've got to remember not only putting Black history into the school to teach it, we need to bring children together as a unity, not a division. We need to think that society has people thinking that you know, we're of all bad things. We're not of all bad things. We have bad in every culture and everywhere, and every ethnicity within the UK, the whole entire world.
Yeah.
It's not just placed upon us Black people.
So it's really humanising our history. I mean,
it is.
Yeah, because even talking about that trip and coming through that's a human journey, and that's about maybe the strength of in fact, your family and the people that you're coming from.
And my mother as well. My mother landed here in 1960. You know, fortunately, you know, she's passed away, so gaining that greater history from my mother's side, you know, is quite difficult. But learning that about my father and his journey, and he remembers it like it was yesterday. He said it was a Tuesday, the 26th of September 1960, a Tuesday. Yeah. He remembered landing in England, in London first, and then residing in Hetman White.
So it just goes to show.
Absolutely.
So you've become the voice for this. So tell me, what inspired you to say, enough is enough, I'm going to get this petition out there and I'm going to do something about it?
Well, I think it's my children, because my two older children came home with no form of history. It was always Black History Month, and it was 10 minutes lesson, and it was the book of Mice of Men. And, you know, when I read the book of Mice of Men, I closed it and I went to the school and I debated with, in fact, you know, I didn't even debate, I argued with that teacher to say this has to be removed from the school. And so, you know, when you look at those books and that you're putting in schools and things and you're using the N-word, you cannot justify the N-word, and you've got to understand that when you're using material like that to show and teach other ethnic groups, you must understand that you can explain away those N-words. My children were subjected to racism, the N-word, and go back to your own country and spat in their face and so forth. And I said, look, hey, enough is enough. So I decided to, you know, go and sit in front of my heater, which everybody knows, sat there with a lined piece of paper, put name, address, signature, and went on my way to decide to say, yeah, we're going to make a change.
So now this campaign's online, and the target is 100,000 signatures by the 10th of February.
That's correct.
So,
which is days left.
It's days, absolutely. So where are we at now with that?
Well, we're over 42,000 at the present moment in time. We really have to get a move on. We really have to wake up and shake up the system. We can change things amongst ourselves on the grounds, but sometimes we need to go a little bit further into to the root and the core of things, which is the House of Commons and 10 Downing Street. We have to make a cry to them. In the cry, in that sense that we're not begging, because a lot of people say, you know, why should we beg them? We are not begging people. We are taking back what's rightfully belongs to us and what we should give to our children. Well,
indeed, and I mean, as a school governor, I'm sure you have insight into education.
Absolutely.
In that sense that makes you know that this is an appropriate step to take. So the important thing is, what should people be doing to support this?
I think, you know, we're going to have a lot of different opinions of whether people want to support or not, and then everybody's entirely up to them, have their own opinions, entirely up to the, you know, making up their own minds. But I think if we want to sign this petition, we should really get online, and we should really push this out, not only to yourself and sign it. Stop liking these things. Share these things. We should remove that like button off Facebook. I think we should just have positive comments and sharing these things. So I think it's important that we share the webpage, which is www.blackhistoryinschools.uk. Please sign the petition. Share it. Nominate 10 people. Nominate 20 people. Go to your schools, tell people, go to the shops, tell people, write it down on a piece of paper. Spread the word, because we only have a matter of days to reach this, to wake up and shake up the government system for our children's future.
Absolutely. And I know you've got some activities in the city tomorrow and you're calling for support.
Yes, I have. We're meeting outside the Birmingham Central Library tomorrow at 12 noon. We're asking people, whether you're children, fathers, mothers, grandfathers, whatever, bring your friends along. We're asking for as many people to turn up tomorrow with a pen and some clipboards so we can go out campaigning the city of Birmingham. We're going to try and see if we can cover Handsworth, Aston, wherever we can locate anybody, just to get as much signatures as we can by paper. So please turn up. Wrap up warm, get your gloves and your scarves and your hat on, drink your soup before you leave your house, but just come and join us and join this great journey with us, because it's too much for one person. We need as much help as we can. Thank you.
No problem, thank you. And so what people are being asked to do out there is effectively have your say. If you don't agree with this subject, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But if you would like to see this put on the table as a discussion in government, in the Houses of Parliament, then remember, check out the website. It's blackhistoryinschools.uk. You can visit the financialstyle.media website. There's a link on there that will bring you directly to the website and directly to the petition. It's simply a click. And if this is something, if you can hear the passion, I see the passion here in the studio coming from Stephanie. Those of you out there, I'm sure, can hear it. And if you can hear that passion and only want to support that passion alone for us to have this discussion, obviously it doesn't actually make it happen, but it gives us the chance to talk about it, and for politicians to talk about it alongside all the other things they're doing, then please use that, I don't know, right hand, left hand, but do that left click.
Absolutely.
And put that signature in that box. Stephanie Pitter, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much indeed.